Hey guys, so Ozzy is in fact joining us again.
Yes,
because
he's eating his breakfast because I'm apparently a Ouija this week.
Yeah, Megan's family own a chippy, and they were off for a week, and then the whole shop was closed, and then they started back up in on Monday. And everyone decides that they just don't want to work.
Yeah, so one girl decided to stay on holiday, and then another girl's sick, so look, he has to cover me.
So, therefore, the only time we get to record is in the mornings before you go to work.
Yeah.
And so Ozzy is with us, eating his breakfast.
Special guest.
Yeah.
Also we have gardeners.
Yeah, as well, actually, we got gardeners.
So you will hear hedge cutters in the back.
Look, guys,
it's just a shit.
Look, guys. It's just what we're stuck dealing with, so
Deal with it.
Hopefully we'll be back to normal next week. But let's jump into this. Let's just see what happens.
How I started the World War.
Okay, so what's happened? Let's how did you achieve that?
Be a washed up, down on his luck Goblin actor whose theatre was closed down after persistent complaints of pocket picking during the plays. Live in a rundown boarding house in the capital's shady district. One day, a drifter arrives to the boarding house and rents a room next to yours. He seems to be a sketchy character, but you're in no position to turn down drinking buddies. While drinking with you, he lets it slip that he is in fact the bastard son of a well-known recently deceased arms mogul, has the documents to prove it, and arrived in the city to claim his inheritance. Seeing that this is your chance, you slit his throat at night, take his documents, his clothes, and go to the notary the next day for the reading of the mogul's final will.
Yeah, of course, my child is in fact a goblin.
Goblin, by the way.
Doesn't look sketchy at all. Okay.
A whole bunch of people are present at the reading, and they all seem really sketchy. You can't shake off the feeling that none of them has any more rights to the inheritance than you do. Everybody's visibly disappointed when the notary announces that the business is split equally between the six of you. But you suppose you now have to work together. You go to inspect the business, and it's a bloody disaster. The current king's pacifism left it without its biggest client. The debts are astronomical. The workers are on semi-permanent strike. No wonder the previous owner offed himself. Suddenly, you get a brilliant idea from one of the old plays you used to stage. You propose to ignite a war with a fictional empire that would motivate the king to modernise the army while nobody gets hurt.
Yeah, nobody gets hurt.
Nobody gets hurt. Everybody supports your idea.
Yeah, Patriot Act. Something wrong, something Patriot Act, yeah, well.
You gather up the old costume designers that you used to work with and order posh and exotic looking costumes for the entire gang, while your thief steals expensive cloth and a bunch of jewellery from the Attlers and jewellery stores all over the capital. Dressed in these posh costumes, you arrive to the capital on a ship with fake flags that belong to the pirate captain amongst you. Declare yourself the ambassador of the great overseas empire of Al-Kumbug, which is a legendary eastern country in your local fairy tales, and demand an audience with the king, which you're granted. The king is so happy to receive guests from so far abroad that he throws a magnificent feast. During the feast, you take your time to insult and spit out every dish that you're offered, question the decorations of the royal palace, break the queen's toes while dancing with her, throw up all over the princess's ball gown after drinking a vomiting potion designed by the party's alchemist, accidentally, but not really, cut off the king's beard while showing off your fencing chops, and constantly telling everyone how savage and uncultured they are. Unfortunately, you miscalculate your obnoxiousness and the prince challenges you to a duel to the death. Luckily, you're saved when the alchemist accidentally sets the palace on fire while showing tricks to the bored noble. You escape from the palace in clouds of iridescent smoke, swiftly board the ship, sail to the nearest beach, wash off the makeup and calmly go back to your base. The next morning, you learn from the news that the king decided to send an expedition to Al-Kumbug to clear the misunderstanding that took place between him and the ambassador. What a pussy. The captain agrees to go tell the king that he knows the way there from the one time his ship got wrecked on its shores. Your company offers the king to equip the expedition with shiny new weapons and armour, just in case, to which he agrees, thus giving you your first legal profit in ages. While the expedition is getting ready to sail off, you contact the best stage designers and technicians that you know, and commission them to build a soundstage that looks like a lavish exotic palace in the woods near the capital.
He says legal. I don't think that was legal. I still consider that flawed. Just putting that out there. But I appreciate that this is what he would consider legal.
Well, some man's fraud is another man's legal.
I mean, no, okay, so a man's fraud would be a goblin's legal.
Yeah, well, basically.
Honestly, guys, I just love goblins. I don't care. I think they're just so much fun.
Yeah.
You can do so much with them.
Finally, the departure day arrives. The ambassador and his retinue board the ship that is supposed to sail for Alcumbug. But in fact, the alchemist spikes their food with a potion that makes their perception of time much slower. And instead of a couple of hours it takes to sail a remote beach, they experience a couple of months. While asleep, they're taken to the palace set. Dressed as the emperor, you immediately order to decimate the expedition for their outrageous fashion sense. Of course, the members of the expedition that are killed are in fact hired actors that the captain secretly took aboard. The ambassador is shocked, but he still has hopes for peace, which are crushed when you order to tar and feather him for talking to you first and declare war in his kingdom. Angry and humiliated, the ambassador is taken back under the influence of the same drugs and writes a very long, furious report for the king. You expect him to start arming his troops in preparation for the war, but instead, he surprises you with his decision to strike first and send the entire royal army to Alcumbug. Oh shit, you were not ready for this. On the plus side, the captain is promoted to Royal Admiral for his services, and also for being the only person who knows the way to Alcumbug. It looks like it's time to pack up and flee, but the thief comes up with a plan. He proposes for the Admiral to use his office to steal the documents confirming that the entire royal army is going to be sent to a long overseas campaign, leaving the kingdom completely defenceless, and sell these documents to the king of a nearby small and poor but aggressive principality, provoking an invasion, which will force our king to turn his fleet back at the last second to repel the invaders. Some of you think it's too much to start an actual war, but the thief manages to convince them otherwise, explaining how much profit we can rake in by selling arms to both sides of the conflict.
See, this is how I play Goblins. It's all about the shinies. It's all about making the money. This is
fucking people over.
I mean, look, honestly, tell me it's not fun to play a very chaotic character. And see, when you pull this type of stuff off,
and not just chaotic for the sake of it, like chaotic by nature, because it is a goblin.
Yeah, but I just love this type of stuff, and especially when a plan just comes together and all works out perfectly. There's no better feeling.
Right, you slimy human maggots. We has been working hard at Neckbeardia to get the bestest little people that monies can buy. We got all the boys here. We got the boys, the lizard boys, vampire boys, all the boys over at Neckbeardia. Oh, we also got some pretty girls too. But I can't really make out which one's the boys and which one's the girls sometimes. But anyway, I need more monies to get more daggers, so get on over and order some now, you filthy pigs.
Every video that we post, we're going to be giving away all of our homebrew content to one lucky winner. Every video. All you have to do to be in with a chance to win is to be subscribed, leave a comment, and like this video. And today's lucky winner is this guy. Well done! Well done! To claim your prize, just send an email to neckbeardiacontact@gmail.com. Now let's get back to the video. On the eve of the expedition, the Admiral steals the secret documents, and we deliver them to the king of
Kaboodi.
Kaboodi.
It's not Kaboodi at all.
Kabotia, who predictably orders a swift invasion. The Admiral blindly leads the expedition into the open sea, praying for the best, but in 2 days, he's recalled via postage pigeon to defend the kingdom against the perfidious Kabulians.
Close enough.
The first wave of the invasions is repelled, but our pussy of a king calls for peace talks instead of pursuing the enemy. We can't let that happen. Our company organises a lavish banquet for the richest and most influential people in the capital, and the alchemist spikes the food with truth serum, making them casually tell their most embarrassing secret.
Wait, no, so this is like Bohemian Grove type stuff? Like you gotta sign the pact, guys. You gotta drink the blood, you gotta do this, you gotta... I can't talk about what other type of stuff they get up to on YouTube, but you guys know what they get up to, so...
We then use these secrets to blackmail them and effectively control the capital's elite. The next morning, all the newspapers come out with jingoistic pro-war headlines, flooding the country with fake news about Caboleton's atrocity. The people demand war and begin protesting against the peace talks. The king uses the royal guard to suppress the protest. The trade union leader, who's also on our payroll,
just like real life.
Yeah. Uses the growing discontentment to organise a revolutionary movement against the traitor monarch. The fleet under the admiral's command support them by broadsiding the royal palace. And the revolutionaries are steadily supplied by our company's factories in exchange for the loot from the ransacked palace of the nobility. After several days of fighting, the king is disposed. The new king is a puppet of our company, and all that is left is to install another puppet in Kindgom so that we could sustain the war forever. Just when it seems that we achieved everything we set out to achieve, a lavish ship arrives to the capital, and it's the bloody ambassador of Al-Kumbug, which apparently exists after all. Still remembering my brilliant performance as the Kumbuggy ambassador. Kumbuggy. The soldiers attack his ship as soon as he announces his identity, forcing him to retreat in a lifeboat, threatening to return with his empire's entire army.
Oh no.
Oh shit, what do we do? We change our plans, and instead of organising a revolution in Kindgom, we simply conquer it and unite our kingdoms. Afterwards, we send messengers to all the other principalities in the region, asking them to form a union or be destroyed by the Kumbuggy army. Some of them agree, others have to be invaded and partitioned for their stupidity. Finally, with our forces united, we're ready to meet the invaders and fight them for our freedom and our profits.
And the margins!
Soon thereafter, the Kumbuggy fleets arrive, and it's enormous, supported by dragons and Genny?
Yeah.
The first battle is truly apocalyptic in proportion, but you can't shake off the feeling that the enemy is holding back. After it ends in a draw, your company's HQ is infiltrated by a ninja-looking dude, clearly a Kumbuggy spy. Strangely, he's not violent, and he invites you to a secret meeting with several enemy leaders. After a bit of discussion, you decide to go to the meeting. The leaders in question are a bunch of fabulously rich Kumbuggy merchants, the shareholders of the United Kumbuggy Arms Corporation. They explain to you that they orchestrated the rise of the Kumbuggy Empire to perpetuate a conflict and sell their arms. And now that there's no real opponents left in the continent, they need another powerful enemy. Seeing kindred souls, you agree to do everything in your power to fuel the war between your two countries forever, while not allowing any of them to gain the upper hand. We shake hands. The other hands are behind our backs with our fingers crossed. Happy end.
That's honest.
I love that.
You know what's great about it? It's done in such a cartoony manner, but what's the real difference between real life and
I know.
Honestly, I really appreciate this one. I think, you know what? So, we're almost finished. Do you guys remember that gas station video we did about 3 weeks ago? So, what we've been working on is almost ready. Mm-hmm. We're going to be doing it as a Kickstarter. It's going to be like limited sort of thing. We're only going to be doing one print of this ever, but I think I want to do something like this. So I do, like, you have to infiltrate. I want to do like maybe a source book for not a campaign, because you couldn't do this as a campaign.
No, it has
it's too much twists and too much turns and everything else. But I do love the idea of maybe something roleplay heavy about subverting a kingdom.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you could do this as goblins and you're subverting the dwarven kingdom and convince them to all shave their beards. You know, something like that. You know, like do like that's the type of thing. Like, oh, maybe you need to become take over the banking family of a kingdom or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of stuff. And I think a lot of espionage. I think this, honestly, I would really enjoy this, because you can mix in a lot of like cyberpunk. Why would we keep talking about cyberpunk? But
lately.
Again, cyberpunk does do a lot of this with corporate espionage, and that's kind of where I would be going with this. Essentially, like fantasy corporate espionage.
Yeah.
I think it would work really well. Yeah, watch out. If you're interested, so what we did with the gas station is we've got like 5 guys, and we're all just banged it out, and we're dividing up, like, you know, what everyone did. So if you're interested in like maybe working on this project with us, you know what the email address is, Neckbeardia contact at Gmail.
Yep.
Gmail.com.
Gmail, yeah.
So if you're interested in this, I don't know when we're going to start it because I want to finish the gas station first.
I like working with you guys as well because it gives you an opportunity to get your ideas in there.
Oh yeah, of course. That, and also like, you know, like everyone knows someone who's been like, oh, I've got this idea. Yeah, pretty much. But no, honestly, I don't know. I think this could be really cool, and I would really love to see it. And if there are any products out there that already exist like this, I want to know about it. But as far as I'm aware, I've never came across anything that would fit into this category, bar maybe some city intrigue sort of campaigns. That's the only time I mean, it kind of is. I don't know. Look, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Is there anything else we need to talk about?
No.
No, we've got a few copies of Steel Warder left. We're near the end.
Yeah, there's a few sitting there.
I need to, because pretty much everyone wanted signed copies, so I need to just move across. Like, I'll just half it. Yeah. You know what I mean? From signed to not signed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. Subscribe if you haven't already. I mean, why are you here if you haven't subscribed?
How did you get here? That's what I want to know.
How did you find us?
I think we're meant to be in a corner and somehow you find us.
Yeah. Wait, what are you guys doing here? You know? But like, I hope you guys enjoyed. I really, like, we haven't done a story time in ages, and this was just, I think this was really good. But I feel like they just don't really do stories.
No, they don't.
It's just
hard to get a good story time.
Yeah,
that's worth reading, to be honest.
Yeah. There's plenty of story times being written, but they're not very good. If I be completely straight up, and the good ones tend to be very big, really long, big, huge multi-parters. Yeah, what you doing? Like, anyway, like that'll do us. Will we head? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
See you. Bye. Bye.